And obviously, we'll do everything we can to be working on all of these issues facing certainly our country at this difficult time. And I want to thank you for being here, Mr. Secretary, and the opportunity to really have a hearing on the President's 2011 budget. And it appears from my reading of the budget that the President's calling for about $2 trillion in tax increases. Is that correct? As a total number?
Well, I think here's how I would
Well,
say it.
I think it is.
What we're proposing to do is
And I only have 3 minutes, so I really would like
I'll say
to
it very
get your
quickly.
comment.
We are proposing to allow to expire the tax cuts that affect 2 to 3% of the richest Americans in the country. We think that's fair. We think that's just. But we are extending very important tax cuts for the vast bulk of Americans, vast bulk of American businesses. And these are powerful, very powerful, responsive tax cuts. They are good policy. We should work together to make sure those happen.
And if I notice that the budget does not factor in the House-passed national energy tax, and if you did factor that into the budget, the total number would be closer to really about $3 trillion in tax increases in the budget. So last year, I look at the increase in spending by about 84% in last year alone, and since the Democrats came into the majority, the debt limit has increased by 60%. And now you want to pay for it, all that spending and all of that debt with about $3 trillion in new taxes if you add in the 2 plus the $1 trillion in cap and trade.
No, Mr. Camp, I don't think
And those new taxes
Right.
on small businesses, on working Americans' health benefits, and also, as I said, taxes on energy. Now, I understand the President has called for about $30 billion to help small businesses. And on the surface, I think that sounds pretty good. But as I look at the President's budget, his tax increases would hit small businesses particularly hard because you're increasing taxes on nearly half of all small business income, 44% according to the Joint Tax Committee. So under the President's plan, small businesses would pay an additional $10 billion in taxes in 2011 alone, and a total tax increase over the 10-year period of $259 billion. So it seems to me that
those are not.
It seems to me that $30 billion in help pales in comparison to the $250 billion in tax increases.
we would welcome if you're prepared to work with us to make sure we can help small businesses to get credit and take the resources we have saved by fixing this broken financial system, devote to that. That would be terrific. But the tax benefits to small businesses in the President's budget are very, very substantial and dramatic. And again, one very important point, and this is not our numbers. Letting the tax cuts on high-income Americans expire affects only 2 to 3% of American small businesses.
Well,
2 to 3%. Okay.
I see my time's expired.
But the tax benefits we're proposing to give them are very, very substantial, and we hope you'll join with us in making those permanent and extending those incentives.
Well, I would just say, in light of the private sector job losses announced this morning, further job losses in January, I don't see how raising taxes in the will have the effect of leading to job creation. And when you look at the total tax relief versus the total tax increases, it's a significant tax increase, particularly on small business. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Levin, distinguished.
Mr. Chairman, could I just respond to that last point?
Okay.
Okay, I just want to do it one more time, just to say it starkly. I've been in public service all my life. My first job in public service was the Treasury Department, first under Secretary Jim Baker. Lloyd Benson gave me my